Good afternoon, everybody. It's Valerie here. Hello to you. So, did you know that even before the world turned upside down, having certainty was a myth? It was a myth that has not changed. One of the things as psychologists, we work in the space of actually helping our clients to actually realize and accept that the thing that they seek, which is certainty, is actually a myth. There are very many things in our world and in our life that are uncertain and cannot be predicted. And so when we worry and when we get anxious and we try to grab at things that are certain and things that are sure, and when we strive for control, we're actually grabbing at, well, empty air. Certainty is a myth. Uncertainty is the norm. Let me ask you a question. Even before COVID-19, were you able to predict what would really happen the next day? What percentage of your week was actually pretty routine and predictable? I would hazard a guess that the things that were predictable and routine were the things that you made predictable and routine. What time you woke up, what time you checked your email, what time you went and had lunch, those sorts of things. But other than that, you couldn't control the types of emails that you would get. You probably couldn't control the type of interactions that you would face. And so most of our life is actually uncertain. So there's a particular mechanism that really hankers after wanting to find certainty, and that is the worry loop, where we actually take that energy to try to grab control. We ruminate and we worry and we try to predict and we try to verbalize, whatever analysis we can get. The thing is, when you're dealing with the unknown, there's actually very little real-time, real-life data that you can put through the worry machine. And so what very often happens is what we put through the worry machine instead are the unhelpful catastrophizing thoughts, the unhelpful trying to predict the future thoughts, the elusive, if I just do this, then this will happen thoughts. And because our brain can't compute that sort of certainty because it doesn't exist, it just goes around and around and around trying to grab something that will give us certainty. And what will feed that then is we will go for reassurance seeking. So what reassurance seeking can look like is that we message a bunch of our friends and say, I'm feeling this. Are you seeing this? Or are you actually hearing the same sort of information? We may actually start to go to search engines and start to look. But the thing is, that sort of research isn't really research. It's actually just playing into a kind of confirmatory bias, right? We're actually really looking for information that already feeds what we are catastrophizing. And so that sort of reassurance seeking and the worry loop, when you marry them together, it is a recipe for sleepless nights, tension, headaches, and just lack of peace of mind, right? So what can we do? We can practice something called acceptance. If we can accept that very little of what was even prior to COVID-19 was certain. And the funny thing is, not the funny thing is, but the thing that is real is in the midst of those kinds of uncertainties, you still functioned. How come? What did you do to actually be able to work through those types of uncertainties? Now would be a really good time to dig into some of your past histories and look at the various adversities that you faced before, right? What actually went on? Who was there? What did you do? And what was the outcome? And did worry and reassurance seeking actually really help you, right? It's probably good to try to ground our need for certainty in the things that we can predict and control, such as our routines, the things that keep us in a sense of gravitational pull That's the thing to keep going. Don't let them drop off to make space for the worry monster. They're the things that we need to keep on. Whatever it is that creates a sense of routine and stability for you, those are the things that you want to keep. This would be a great time to actually think about another thing that you can anchor a sense of the what if, because you could probably make this happen. What are you going to do when, not if, but when this whole thing dies down? What are you going to do? I'm already planning the big celebrations. I tell you, there's going to be so many people that I'm going to want to hug. It is not funny. I'm going to say, forget the 6-second hugs. I'm going to go for the 60-second hugs. I don't know if you can actually do that. That might be a bit weird. I'm already planning the big meals that I'm going to have, the number of people that I'm going to have over. I'm really investing in a sense of what that is going to look like, because those are the things that I can actually make happen, right? I may not be able to predict what my work is going to look like. I'm not going to actually be able to predict what my kids' schooling is going to look like, but I can predict, because I'm likely to do it, the kinds of things that I will do for a reunion. This is probably also a great time to invest in activities that are really tangible, sensory-based activities. So if you actually think about worry thoughts that run away from us, they're fairly intangible. And it really helps for our mind to be anchored in things that you can touch, things that you can do, a feeling of mastery. So hello, Amanda. Heading for a feeling of mastery over control is a really helpful flip to get into. What does mastery mean? It means that you can cook a meal. You can make decisions about what's going to go into that dish. It means that you can make decisions as to what you actually fix around the house. There could be that thing that's been bugging you that's not been fixed, or a spot on the wall or something like that. Mastery just means that we are able to actually gather the skills and the abilities that we have towards a tangible product. It also means a tangible outcome. It also means that we can use our brain in a productive space to learn and to grow. Some people are using this time as an opportunity to pick up new skills, to learn a language that they've always wanted to learn, to figure out new ways of doing sustainable living, ways to exercise. Oh my word, I had the most amazing sight on my way to work today. So psychologists are considered an essential service, and I'll do another live stream on why I totally believe we are an essential service during these times. So we are still continuing face-to-face and transferring some of our clients to telehealth where we can. But I was on my way to work, and I saw this amazing sight of a gentleman who basically the gyms are closed, right? And he had huge water bottles, and he was doing lifts. Well, what are they? They weren't bicep curls. They weren't like this. They were these ones, whatever those ones are. If someone can tell me what that is, with some huge water bottles. Stepped out of his van. He was a tradie by the looks of it. Stepped out of his van. Probably was taking advantage of the sun. There was nobody around, so it was appropriate physical distancing, and he was going to it. And I thought, that's an amazing sight. So it's a way to actually innovate and grow and pick up new ways of doing old things. These are some of the things we can invest what our brain is really hankering for. Is that a word, hankering? I feel like it is. Sometimes I get mixed up between my sayings, because I grew up fairly internationally, and okay, this is a tangent, okay, but this is what happens to me in a foreign country. I make up sentences with different languages. Does anybody do that? Like it start off French. French isn't even my native language, but it's a language I learned in high school. I'll start off with, I want to say something in French, and then I swap to a bit of Indonesian and the Malaysian language, and then it swaps to Chinese before my brain says, oh, hang on, you're in none of those countries. I have no clue where I went with that. But anyways, Look, guess what? Do you know what else is certain? It is pretty certain that today is Tuesday, that the sun is out, that there is a light breeze out there, and that there is a whole afternoon left before the certainty of restful sleep. I don't know about you, but I am totally tanking up on my sleep. All right, it was lovely to connect with you. I'll catch you later.